So Gail, first of all, so we can check our sound levels, can you tell me your name and how did you get here today?
Gail Simpson, I came by car.
So Gail, first of all, can you tell us then a little bit about yourself and how long you've been working in the ceramic industry, where you started and what kind of jobs you've been doing, please?
I went to Leek College of Art and then I left and I wanted a job in the pottery industry, but what I'd been doing is in between your holidays, you have like 7 weeks in your holidays from the college. I got a job on St Mary's at Royal Dalton, lithographing. So I used to do the lithographing to get the money in to pay for my art supplies and things. And from then on, I got an offer of a job because they knew I'd been to art college. And they said, we need a person in the design department, painting shop, the pattern books and shop patterns, keeping the shop patterns for the factory. So when they have a pattern or a new pattern, you have to keep a record of how they actually are put on the items, so that when they reproduce them again and again, everybody knows that that's exactly how they go, especially on the spray patterns. And St Mary's was a spray pattern. They did do some border patterns as well, and also did styling. And then it just went on from there. And I've been working in this industry for 40 years. 26 years at Dalton's until I got made redundant, and then I got a job at Dudson's, where I've been there about 13 years. And I've been very lucky to be able to do the creative side. And I've had lots of jobs that have been really nice jobs. And every day's a different day, whatever. When you come in, there's always something different. So it's actually, but I've been on all the Dalton factories. So I've worked in, I started off at St Mary's, which was like the old country roses, the old-fashioned patterns and the styling and the black imps, doing all the fittings for things, and actually worked with the kilns and all the colours and the ceramic and technology side. That's where I learned my trade with a man who used to work with Ray Reynolds, and he was the decorative manager, a superb teacher. Don't know if he's still with us, but he was an absolutely excellent mentor, and I've had a lot of people out through my working life. And then after I was at St Mary's, I got a job opportunity to go to Dalton Printing, which was a printing facility, and they taught me how to do reprographics, and I actually was the assistant to the repro manager. And then after that, I went into the design department at Nile Street, and we did lots of, because they moved them all together, so we did reprographic technician work, and it was like for the printing industry. And then I ended up at Dudson's. So, and I'm still doing, I do varied things at Dudson's. I do some surface pattern, I do redrawing logos, I do visuals for customers. I do the whole thing, actually go from doing a visual to actually getting it approved by the customer, and then I'll do the graphics and the artwork for the printer. Then I'll follow it right through for the shop patterns for the factory, so they know exactly where the logos go, what position they go, so they have like a spec. I do the spec, that goes to the factory, and then that actually is decorated, and then I see the firings to see if the colours are right, make sure it's okay, and then before it actually goes into production, check everything's okay, it goes into production, goes to the customer. But I'm actually lucky to actually be able to do the process from start to finish. I'm in it all the way through. So, and like I say, every job we have is really good.
Fantastic. Now, you've worked in the industry for 40 years, so there must be something that you like about the pottery industry and being involved in it. Tell me a bit more about what do you enjoy about working in the pottery industry?
The creativity, being able to just stamp your mark on things, and to see that when you've actually drawn a logo. I think we did one for Newcastle School, and it was I think it was 5 colours when it came in, but they wanted it kind of making into 2. And actually working out how you do that is just really good. And when you've actually done it, it's like a sense of achievement that you've achieved something. And there's things that I've done all around the world, but nobody'd know that you'd done them, because you do all the work, but you don't get your name on anything, because we're not a designer. We like the backroom technicians, basically, that we do loads of things. I mean, there was a figure at Dalton's that was a really expensive one, a model, I think it was Richard, and he's sitting in a chair and he's got a little dragon on his chest. Now I redrew the dragon and that's actually a lie though, but I actually did all the dragon for that, and I'm proud of that because that's, I mean, they didn't make many. We used to do like little fittings for Royal Crown Derby. We used to do all the little outlines for the little animals in a grey. Used to do the fittings and things until they actually got their own computers. But I'm talking in the early days, they didn't have the computers. We used to do them all for them. And that was interesting as well, doing fittings for strange things. So it's like a challenge, and that's what I liked about it.
Fantastic.
It's all a challenge.
You mentioned the word pride in there.
Yeah.
Is it something that you're proud to be a part of?
Yes.
The ceramic industry is so important to the DNA of Stoke-on-Trent. Are you proud to be a part of that industry?
I am, yes.
Why,
yes.
why do you take pride in it?
Well, that's all I know. I live in this area, and from a young age, that when you go for a job, when you leave school, and when you leave college, there wasn't much. There was either the creeder, which made the kettles, or there was the potteries, and I've been very lucky to be able to start time served in the potteries all the way through, and that's what makes me proud to be doing that.
Now you've got, like you say, 40 years experience. In your experience, what kind of a role have women played in the pottery factories that you've been part of? What kind of a role have they played? What kind of a jobs have they done? And what's it been like for God's sake?
The women lithographers, there have been a lot of lithographers. They've always been women. A lot of the designers with the creative flair, because it's all floral and pink and fluffy stuff, it's women that have done that. There has been loads of men sculptors and things, but a lot of the people I've worked with, all the design people, have been women. And they've been very good designers that I've worked with. I've been very lucky to work with these kind of people, and the men sculptors, sculptors, and to see all that was going on, it's been really very good.
And what kind of an atmosphere has it been like then when you've been working in the factories and you've been working with colleagues? What kind of an atmosphere have you found with your colleagues and with your fellow workers?
Lots of camaraderie. Very helpful, working as a team. It's like a little family. Everybody did everything for each other, helped each other. We're very close knit. Especially when I worked at Dalton Printing. I viewed all the people I worked with there. Now, that was actually a lot of men in that printing works. There was a lot of men, and they were like me brothers. We were very close.
And what kind of a relationship did you find that you built up with the women that you work with?
Yeah, the same really. The women, the lady designers, and yeah, we started to work with them because we used to have, when we were at DFC, like that factory, the Nile Street factory, they had a bank of lady designers, and we used to do all the styling for them. So they did the design, with hand painting basically, or very talented, and then they used to give us the design, and we used to take it, style it, put it on the wear for them, and then they used to have a look at it. So we were like their technicians. So yeah, we had very good relationships with the people. And in fact, I loved my time at Dalton's. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. It was very, like I say, you'd never get anything like that now.
Fantastic. In your kind of time working in the different kind of factories, did you ever feel that because you were a woman, you were treated differently, or you were maybe even paid differently? Did you feel there was any kind of discrimination, or you were treated differently at any time?
No, not in the arena I was, in the design side. No, we were all treated as equals. Don't really know about the pay because we were just happy to be working. We don't think we actually thought about in the early days, because we were just coming and doing a job we enjoyed, and the money was okay. You know, it was an average wage for a person. So I didn't actually think about that in that time now.
Now you're still working today at Dudson,
yeah,
and you've been working for 40 years.
Yeah.
What kind of changes have you seen within the industry over the last 40 years?
Well, there's a lot of the skill sets have gone. They used to be all hand drawn, hand painted, and then it's more technology now. It's computers, but you still got to be able to draw and have your first source image before you can go on the computer and do that. But it was time consuming and skillful. Like the layouts we used to do, they used to be. Well, when we first started, it was dish developing, and then we had the film. We had the dark room. We used to be able to just put it through a tank, and it used to come out the other side. But it was very skillful and time and labour intensive. We used to actually like tape little things down, and even a simple thing like a back stamp. We used to like get letter set, and you'd have to put it in a line, make sure it's all, and then you'd have to go in the dark room, and you'd have to neg it, and then you have to come out with the neg, paint all around the edges of you know, where your tape is and where your edges are, and any little dots or little hairs that flirt on, which you try not to get, and then you pause it, and then that's your stamp. But a simple thing like a back stamp, Dalton's used to have thousands of them. We used to do loads and loads, but that was easy when the computer came along, because you've got your letter, you know, your typing and everything, so you could actually sort that out, whereas before it was all hand done, hand painted. If you've got a dot on your T, you'd be there hand painting the hole in it or something. Whereas now it's all computers, so there's been a lot of shift. Quicker, because we used to, well, let's say a pattern, like a normal pattern, you have step and repeats. So normally, if it's a border pattern, it's the same little element, but it's all the way around. So what you'd do is, you'd hand draw that element, say one little element, and then you'd go in the dark room, and then you'd print loads of them off, and then you'd get a boom compass for the curve, because you need a curve for, there's all different curves for different items, and then you'd draw a line, and then you'd be getting this little tiny element that you'd got loads of off photographic, stick it down with tape, and you put it all around your curve. That'd be your step and repeat. Now we've got in the industry packages that you actually do your units, but you plate scribe them. So you've got your one unit on your computer, which you've got to make sure it's right and it's the right length. Each unit, if you wanted that unit to stay the same all the way around on all different elements, you have to do a unit for every one and work out the running length. Well, at that computer, you have to do that anyway. You have to know that. But once you know that, you can put that into the computer, because even though there's computer software that does it, you still got to be able to know what you're doing to put it in, and then it'll come out, and it just step and repeats it all around for you, that package. And if some people haven't got that package, what you do is you do your little element on the computer, and then you put like your line up to it for your radio, and you just step and repeat it round by your computer, you know, your Apple, whatever it is, and it goes all the way around. Whereas before, like I say, we did it labour intensive. Now it's not. So it did, where it takes, at Dalton's we'd have like three months to produce a whole range of pattern for a graphic to go to print. At Dudson's sometimes I can do it in a day. I can you know, get certain things like sorted, because we have to, because they very, like from when I was at Don's, it was very, very, they had lots of it. They were all stock patterns, and it was retail. Dudson's like custom. So we only have small runs now. So it'll be exactly the same amount of tooling up for 10,000 as it would be for, say, 8 pieces. So we try and not do 8 pieces, but the smaller runs, like 100 pieces of each, it's like a custom job. We do it, but we still got to do the same amount of work as we would do for a whole stock pattern. So it's actually quite labour intensive. So now it isn't. It's really quick, but you've got to know what you're doing. You've got to be there doing it all the time. Because like sometimes we'll turn around. We have about 2 months to do the whole lot. That's from when the customer wants it, right to the very end where it's on the table. Don't have hardly any time to do it, but we do it, and we're very good at it.
And have you noticed over that period of time changes in attitudes towards things like health and safety at all when kind of in the workplace?
Oh yeah, there's lots of where I work now. They're very health and safety just changed completely. You know.
How has it changed, and how have attitudes towards health and safety changed?
Well, now you have to wear all your PPI, and if you go on the shop floor, you've got to put your ear things in. and you'd walk, like in the A-Day, when we were at Dalton's, you could walk round the back of the kiln, you didn't have to wear ear plugs or anything, no safety wear, but now you've got to do everything. I mean, I don't go on the shop floor that often, but when I do, I have to make sure I put my kit on to even go down on the shop floor because of all the things that are going on. It's legal things, isn't there? So when I worked at Dalton's, it was really, I didn't really get into that kind of thing because where we were in a quite safe environment anyway. You sat at your desk and didn't actually even think about it, truthful.
What do you think in terms of, you mentioned at the start of the interview, creativity. Do you think that it is a creative, that working in the ceramics industry, working in the pottery industry, do you think it's a creative job, and if so, why? Yes,
I think it is a creative job, even right down to the shop floor, because they've got to be able to, even say a handle, a person who puts handles on mugs, they've got to be able to it's all skillful, everything's skillful. Mould making is really skillful, but I think it has been de-skilled. Used to be very highly thought of, and it was a skillful job, but I think over the years, I think it has been de-skilled. But like hand painting and banding and gilding, we can't find many people that do it now. I mean, I know there's the Portmarians and all the other ceramic industry, they've got probably, I'm just talking from my experience on the places where I've worked, but there used to be bands of lithographers, bands of gilders. You know, now you've got a few that do it, and a lot of people are my age are actually leaving, and nobody's actually coming in to replace those things.
What do you think about in terms of the ceramic industry and the attitude towards Stoke-on-Trent around the world? Why do you think ceramics is so important to Stoke-on-Trent and North Staffordshire?
Well, it's our heritage. It's people's livelihoods and jobs, and there isn't a lot more around here, only telephone companies and things, from my perspective. So, I don't really. I think it's just our heritage, and it needs to be, and it's made in English with the best people. With the best people to do it. Stoke-on-Trent, that's where it came from. So, and I think really we should be building on that heritage, and we should be like, was it Middleport Pottery? Look at the success they've made of things. And I went for the first time when those poppies were on, which is very naughty because I've been in the industry. I was really impressed by it because I'd never actually been on that factory, and I'd walk around it and see the bottle kilns and things. And we should be making that worldwide, and we should be doing that to the pottery industry, making it like a museum. So people want to come to Stoke-on-Trent to see that. I don't think we do enough of that. I really don't.
And for kind of, for young women in particular, looking to work in the pottery industry, looking to do jobs similar to what you do now, what words of advice or encouragement would you have for kind of like the next generation of pottery workers?
Well, it's a very good job to get into, and it's very creative. That's the way, if you're a creative person. I don't really know. I just enjoyed all my lifetime. It's changed so much from when I first started there, and now the jobs for designers are very few and far between. So it's hard to get hold of them anyway. But if you do, it's a brilliant job, and it's a really good job.
And kind of when you look back over the 40 years that you've been working in the pottery industry, when you look back, what do you kind of most enjoy about it when you reflect back? What was the most enjoyable thing about working in the pottery industry?
Working with my colleagues, we had a really good time. It wasn't like work. It was fun. Fun, and we achieved something, and at the end result was beautiful. So I really enjoyed the people I work with.
Fantastic. That's a great place to wrap us up, Gail. Thank you. Mind you,
I was getting stuck about what to say there.
No, there was